Long before there was a hotel, before there were hallways and staircases and rooms with doors that refused to stay shut, there was only the lake. It sat in the Grande Ronde Valley, steaming even in the dead of winter, its surface curling with mist-like breath and cold air. The water wasn't just warm, it was unnaturally hot, heated by geothermal forces deep beneath the earth. To the Native American tribes who lived in the region, the lake was sacred. Not in the way something is admired from a distance, but in the way something is respected and approached carefully. They believed the lake held power. Healing, yes, but also something else, something that demanded balance. People came to the lake to soak in its mineral-rich waters. Some left feeling restored, others left uneasy, unable to explain why the silence around the lake seemed to press inward, or why the mist sometimes moved against the wind. And a few never spoke about what they felt at all. In the late 1800s, settlers arrived with different ideas. Where the tribes saw sacred ground, businessmen saw opportunity. The natural hot springs could be marketed as a miracle cure. The valley was beautiful, accessible, and ripe for development. By the early 1900s, construction began on what would become one of the most ambitious resorts in the Pacific Northwest. The building was enormous. Sprawling wings, elegant architecture, wide windows designed to let the light in that never quite reached the deeper parts of the structure. When it opened in 1907 as Hot Lake Sanatorium and Hotel, it was a marvel. Visitors arrived by train. Doctors promoted the waters as a cure for arthritis, tuberculosis, and nearly every ailment imaginable. Guests soaked in large bathing areas filled directly from the lake, breathing in the mineral-heavy steam. There was music, laughter, the clink of glasses, and beneath it all, something else. It didn't take long for the hotel's identity to shift. What began as a luxury resort gradually transformed into a full medical facility. Patients replaced tourists, the laughter faded into something quieter, conversation held in hushed tones, footsteps echoing through halls at odd hours. Surgery rooms were established, treatment wards were filled. The water, once marketed as miraculous, became part of a more desperate hope that people who had nowhere else to turn might find relief here. Some did, some didn't. Death, at first rare, became more common, and buildings remember that kind of thing. In 1934, a fire tore through the structure. It didn't destroy everything, but it didn't need to. The damage reshaped the building, closing up entire sections, altering its layout into something less intuitive, more fragmented. Hallways that once made sense now ended abruptly. Rooms were sealed. Spaces were repurposed. After the fire, something about the place felt off. Not in a dramatic way, not immediately. People began to notice small things. Doors that wouldn't stay closed. Sounds scaring in ways they shouldn't. The sense that even in a full building, you're never quite sharing space with just the living. Eventually, the hospital closed. The building passed through different owners, different purposes, none of them lasting. It became for a time a nursing home. Later, it was abandoned entirely. And that's when the stories began to take shape. Without people to fill the space, the building settled into itself. Wind moved through broken windows, floorboards creaked under no visible weight. The lake continued to steam outside, unchanged, as if it had no interest in what humans built beside it. Locals avoided the place, not because of one story, but because of the accumulation of them. Lights seen in the windows when no electricity was running, figures standing in upper floors that no longer had safe access. Music, faint, distorted, drifting into the night air. The piano, always the piano, Somewhere inside the building sat an old piano. Accounts vary on exactly where, but nearly everyone who has spent time in Hot Lake mentions it. At first, it's subtle. A single note, then another. Something you might dismiss as the building settling, wood shifting, wires vibrating. But then it becomes something else. Melody. Incomplete. Hesitant, but intentional. People who've heard it describe a strange feeling. Not fear exactly, but a kind of recognition. Like overhearing a conversation you're not meant to understand, but yet somehow you feel a part of. No one has ever found someone sitting at the keys when the music plays. In the early 2000s, new owners took on the challenge of restoring Hot Lake Hotel. They weren't just fixing a building, they were trying to reclaim something that had for decades existed in a state between abandonment and legend. Construction crews moved in, and almost immediately the experiences began. Tools going missing, only to reappear in places already searched. Footsteps echoing in empty hallways. Workers hearing their names called when no one else was nearby. One account describes a man working late who saw a figure at the end of a corridor, standing still, watching. When he called out, the figure didn't respond. It didn't move. Until the lights flickered, and then it was gone. Even visitors today report seeing shadows, not the kind cast by objects, but shapes that move independently of any light source. They're quick, peripheral, gone in the moment you focus on them, but they leave an impression. A sense that something is navigating the same space you are, just outside your ability to fully perceive it. Some describe them as patient. Others say they feel curious. A few say they feel watched. Not every part of Hot Lake feels the same. Some rooms are calm, almost peaceful. Sunlight fills them easily, and whatever history lingers there feels distant. Others are heavier. Guests who stay overnight sometimes report waking up suddenly without knowing why. The air feels thicker. Sound seems muted. In certain rooms, people have described the sensation of someone sitting at the edge of the bed, not seen, but felt. Have you ever felt like that? I have. And through all of this, the lake remains, steaming, constant. It's easy to focus on the building, the architecture, the stories, the visible structure. But many believe the center of whatever is happening at Hot Lake isn't the hotel at all. It's the water. The same water that existed before any of this was built. The same water people believed held power long before words like haunting were used to describe it. Even today, visitors who spend time near the lake sometimes report an odd calm, paired with an unshakable sense of being observed, not threatened, just noticed. So today, Hot Lake is no longer abandoned. It's been restored, reopened, and reintroduced to the public, not just as a historical site, but as a destination. People come for different reasons. Some are drawn by the architecture, the history, the idea of stepping into a place that has lived many lives. Others come because of the stories, paranormal investigators, curious travelers, people who want to feel something they can't quite explain. And they do. But the impact goes beyond ghost stories. Hot Lake has become part of the identity of the area. Local businesses reference it, tourists included. It draws attention to La Grande in a way few places can. At the same time, it walks a line. Because while it brings curiosity and tourism, it also carries a history that isn't entirely comfortable. It forces people to confront the idea that places remember, that buildings, landscapes, even water can hold on to what happens within them. So the question is Hot Lake haunted? That depends on how you define haunting. If you're looking for something that jumps out, something aggressive or obvious, you might leave disappointed. But if you pay attention, really pay attention, you start to notice subtler things. The way sound travels, the way certain places feel, the way the past doesn't quite stay in the past. Hot Lake doesn't try to scare you. It doesn't need to. Because what lingers there isn't trying to be seen. It just is. Even now, people will stay there and report experiences. Not all of them dramatic. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Sometimes it's a sound. Sometimes it's waking up and knowing without any clear reason that you weren't alone for a moment. And then it's gone. Morning comes, light fills the rooms. The building looks like any other restored historic hotel. But something stays with you. A question. A sense. A quiet awareness that whatever exists at Hot Lake didn't begin with the hotel. And it won't end with it either. And this is it. This is all I have for you today. So has anyone actually been to the Hot Lake Hotel? It's in Oregon, and I know it's open to the public. Let me know in the comments if you've been there and is it actually haunted. And if you've made it this far, please like the video and subscribe. Thanks again. Until the next one.